You know that feeling. You sit down after a brutal day, your shoulders are tight, your mind is racing, and there it is, that voice in your head saying, I deserve this. I've earned it. This drink will make everything better. I'm Dr. Zaid Fadul, and in the next 10 minutes, you'll learn the real impact a glass of wine with dinner has on your sleep, why your high tolerance is actually killing you faster, and the safest amount to drink, backed by 3 million patient years of data. Here's the thing that nobody's talking about. Almost everything you believe about alcohol's health benefits is a lie. And I'm not exaggerating. The World Health Organization, the American Heart Association, and the most comprehensive studies ever conducted, studies looking at millions of people over decades, all point to the same shocking conclusion that contradicts what you've probably been told your entire life. As a concierge physician who's analyzed biomarkers on thousands of patients, I've seen firsthand how alcohol destroys health, even in people who drink moderately. I'm going to dismantle 5 major myths that are keeping you sick, show you exactly what alcohol is actually doing to your body right now, and answer 9 specific questions you've been afraid to ask. Some of what you hear might shock you, some of it might make you uncomfortable, but by the end of this video, you'll never look at that glass the same way again. Stay with me, because the answer to, should I drink, is not what big alcohol wants you to believe. Let me start with the biggest lie we've all been sold, that moderate drinking is good for your health. If you've read any health article in the last 20 years, you've seen headlines like red wine and heart health, or a glass a day keeps the doctor away. These come from studies showing that people who drank moderately had better health outcomes than people who never drank. Sounds great, right? But here's what those studies got wrong, and it's a massive oversight. The people who never drank included former alcoholics and people who quit drinking because they got sick. When scientists fixed this problem and used better research methods, specifically something called Mendelian randomization studies that can't be fooled by lifestyle factors, the protective effect completely vanished. The American Heart Association now officially states the evidence is insufficient to recommend alcohol for cardiovascular protection. Let that sink in. The same organization that spent decades telling us moderate drinking might help our hearts just admitted they were wrong. Here's where it gets darker. Even 1 drink per day increases your risk of high blood pressure and irregular heartbeats. Not might increase, it increases. The relationship between alcohol and disease is what scientists call monotonic, which means every single drink you consume increases your risk. There's no safe threshold. The theoretical minimum risk exposure level for alcohol is 0. But what about red wine? Surely that's different. Surely there's something special about those polyphenols everyone talks about. Yes, red wine contains polyphenols, plant compounds that are genuinely good for you. But here's the catch that nobody mentions. You can get those exact same polyphenols from grapes, berries, dark chocolate, and green tea without any of the toxic effects of alcohol. The alcohol itself is the problem. Alcohol is classified as a group 1 carcinogen. That puts it in the same category as tobacco and asbestos. Even low levels of intake, as little as 1 drink per day, are associated with increased risk of breast cancer. The risk rises linearly. Each additional 10 grams of alcohol daily increases breast cancer risk by 7%. So that nightly glass of wine you thought was protecting your heart, it's actually increasing your cancer risk every single night. But if alcohol's damaging your body, at least you're sleeping better, right? Wrong. And this is where things get really weird. How many of you use alcohol as a sleep aid? You're not alone. It's probably the most common reason people reach for a drink before bed. Stressed? Have a glass. Can't fall asleep? Have a drink. It's become our culture's unspoken sleep solution. The problem is this. Yes, alcohol helps you fall asleep faster. That part's real. But what happens after you drift off is where the story takes a dark turn. Think of your sleep like a movie. A good night's sleep is a 3-act film with a solid plot, character development, and a satisfying ending. Alcohol doesn't just edit out scenes. It completely scrambles the entire story. Here's a neuroscience. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep. That's the stage where your brain processes emotions, consolidates memories, and restores itself. It blocks REM during the first half of the night when you need it most. Then, as your body metabolizes the alcohol, something called a rebound effect kicks in. Your brain overcompensates. You get fragmented sleep, constant awakenings, and vivid dreams that jolt you awake at 3 a.m. A major study found that just 1 drink decreases your sleep quality by 10%. 2 drinks? That drops to 24%. More than 2 drinks, your sleep quality plummets by 40%. Your entire restorative sleep cycle is essentially destroyed. But it gets worse. Alcohol reduces melatonin, the hormone that tells your body when it's time to sleep and when it's time to wake up. It can worsen sleep apnea by 25%, meaning if you already have sleep apnea, that nightcap could literally be stopping you from breathing properly during the night. So while you think that drink is helping you relax and sleep better, it's actually robbing you of the one thing your body needs most: deep, restorative sleep. You might sleep longer, but you're sleeping worse. You're waking up more tired and you have no idea why. If you need help getting better sleep, you're welcome to check out my video on sleep hygiene tips or my playlist on sleep medicine. And here's something most people don't realize. The more you drink, the more your body adapts, which sounds like it should be a good thing. It's not. In fact, it's a warning sign you're heading towards serious trouble. If this is eye-opening, hit the like button. YouTube will show it to more people who need to hear it. A lot of people I know are proud of their high alcohol tolerance. I can handle my liquor, they say. It's almost like a badge of honor. You can drink more than your friends. When you drink, it goes right to your feet and eventually works up to your brain, which is why you can handle your liquor. You must be strong, right? This is dead wrong. And understanding why might be the most important wake-up call in this entire video. When you drink regularly, your liver starts pumping out more enzymes to break down alcohol. Your brain chemistry changes. Your neurons start adapting to the constant presence of a toxin. This adaptation is called tolerance, and it feels like progress. It feels like your body's getting stronger. What's actually happening is your body slowly surrendering to poison. Here's a critical part. Increased tolerance does not mean you're less affected by alcohol. It means you need more alcohol to feel the same effects while the damage to your organs continues at the same rate or even accelerates. You're not protected, you're not stronger, you're sicker, and you don't realize it yet. People with high tolerance typically drink in larger quantities. Those larger quantities directly increase your risk of liver disease, heart failure, cancer, and permanent neurological damage. Your nervous system can suffer irreversible damage, causing numbness in your hands and feet, cognitive impairment, memory loss, and problems with balance and coordination. And here's the insidious part. Because you don't feel drunk, you don't think you're drinking too much. You might convince yourself you're fine, but your liver, your heart, and your brain aren't fine. They're being systematically damaged, and tolerance is masking the warning signs. My wife likes to make fun of me that I'm a cheap date because I don't drink very much and I don't drink very often, so one glass of wine will definitely get me there, and this is one of the reasons I'm proud to wear that like a badge of honor. If you're worried about your long-term brain health or dementia risks and want to do more to stay ahead of the curve, check out my video on preventing dementia linked here. So if alcohol doesn't help you sleep and tolerance just means you're getting sicker, what about the one thing everyone says alcohol is good for? Stress relief. After a stressful day, that drink feels incredible. The tension melts, your shoulders drop, your mind quiets down. It feels like genuine relief. And in that moment, it is genuine relief. But here's what's happening on a neurochemical level and why that relief is a trap. Alcohol increases GABA, a neurotransmitter that calms your brain. This is why alcohol initially feels very relaxing. But your brain is incredibly adaptive. When you regularly flood your system with GABA, your brain compensates by producing less GABA naturally and creating fewer GABA receptors. So your baseline anxiety actually increases. You need more alcohol to achieve the same calming effect. The next day, the hangover day, you experience the opposite effect. Your brain is in a hyperexcitable state. That's when the anxiety spike hits. That's Hangxiety, and it's real. You feel more anxious, more irritable, and more stressed than you did before you drank. Here's what the American Psychiatric Association found. Chronic alcohol use is strongly associated with depression, anxiety, insomnia, and increased risk of suicide. You're not managing stress, you're making stress worse, and you're creating a cycle where you need alcohol to manage the stress that alcohol is causing. Your body has natural stress management systems: cortisol regulation, endorphin release through exercise, stress relief through social connection. Alcohol disrupts all of these. It's like trying to fix your car by pouring sand in the engine. It might feel like you're doing something, but you're actually making things worse. The temporary relief you get from alcohol comes at the cost of deeper, more persistent anxiety and depression. It's a short-term win for a long-term loss. And the longer you keep doing it, the deeper the hole gets. You can check out my playlist on stress reduction techniques here. I link the videos related to all of these specific topics in the description as well. Now, if stress is making you want to drink and alcohol is making you gain weight, there's a reason for that, and it's not just the calories. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why people who drink regularly tend to gain weight? Most people blame it on the calories in alcohol, and yes, that's part of it, but there's something deeper happening in your metabolism. Alcohol provides 7 calories per gram. That's nearly as much as pure fat. But these aren't normal calories. They're what we call empty calories with zero nutritional value. Your body can't use them for anything except energy, and because they're toxins, your body prioritizes processing them immediately. Here's where it gets interesting. When you drink alcohol, your liver shifts into overdrive to break it down. It's a poison after all. This means your body stops burning fat efficiently. It puts fat metabolism on hold to deal with the toxin. Short term, it's not a big deal. But if you're drinking regularly, your body is constantly in detox mode instead of fat burning mode. But the metabolic issue is only half the problem. Alcohol impairs your judgment around food choices. That's why drunk you wants a pizza and burgers at 2 a.m. Alcohol also increases cravings for high-calorie foods. It's a double hit. Your metabolism is suppressed and you're eating worse. Here's the good news. Studies show that even short-term abstinence from alcohol leads to significant improvements in insulin resistance, weight, and blood pressure without changes to diet or exercise. Your body's metabolic machinery actually works better when it's not trying to process a poison. So aside from the health impacts of alcohol, being overweight is also a huge risk to your health. To understand the impacts, you can check out my video on the real cost of obesity here. If you're struggling with weight management and you drink regularly, that's probably a significant barrier you haven't considered. Cutting back on alcohol might be more effective than any diet. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe that friend who drinks every night for their heart. But here's something most people overlook entirely. If you take any medications, alcohol could be seriously dangerous. I need you to listen carefully to this section, especially if you take any medications regularly. Alcohol doesn't exist in isolation in your body. When you drink, it enters your bloodstream and interacts with everything in your system, including medications. And these interactions can be dangerous. Alcohol combined with sleep medications or anxiety drugs can increase sedation to dangerous levels. Mix alcohol with blood thinners and you're increasing your bleeding risk dramatically. Combine alcohol with certain antibiotics and you can have severe reactions. The list goes on and on. This becomes even more critical as you age. Most people over 65 take multiple medications. When you add alcohol to that mix, the risk of dangerous interactions multiplies. Your liver's ability to process both the alcohol and the medications decreases. Your kidneys are less efficient. You're playing chemical roulette. Medication classes at risk include sleep aids like benzodiazepines and sedatives, anxiety medications like SSRIs and other antidepressants, blood thinners like warfarin and aspirin, pain relievers like opiates and NSAIDs, diabetes medications, blood pressure medications, and statins and other cholesterol drugs. Before you have a drink while taking any medication, you need to talk to your doctor or pharmacist. Not your friend, not the internet, your actual healthcare provider who knows your specific medications and your body. And if you don't drink every day but go hard when you do, you might think you're safer. You're absolutely not. I don't drink every day, so it's fine. Does that sound familiar? A lot of people convince themselves that as long as they're not drinking daily, they're safe. They might go a week without drinking, then Friday night hits and they put away 5, 6, 7 drinks. That's called binge drinking. And it's not harmless. It's actually incredibly dangerous, both in the short term and the long term. Binge drinking is defined as 5 or more drinks for men or 4 or more drinks for women, consumed within a 2-hour period. If that sounds like you sometimes, you need to hear what comes next. Occasional binge drinking significantly increases your immediate risk of accidents and injuries like falls, car crashes, and violence. It increases your risk of alcohol poisoning, blackouts, and memory loss, risky sexual behavior, and impaired judgment leading to poor decisions. Some of you have definitely woken up next to somebody you wish you hadn't. But the short-term risks aren't even the worst part. The long-term damage is. Binge drinkers show accelerated patterns of cardiovascular damage and increased heart disease risk, brain damage and cognitive decline, liver disease, cancer risk increases that rival daily drinkers, and increased all-cause mortality. People think, well, I only drink on weekends, so I'm not an alcoholic. Or, at least I'm not drinking every day. But your body doesn't distinguish between daily damage and weekend damage. The damage compounds either way. According to the dietary guidelines for Americans, if you do choose to drink, it should be no more than 2 drinks daily for men and 1 drink daily for women. But, and this is critical, these limits do not guarantee safety. They're not recommendations, they're ceilings. 2 out of every 100 people drinking within these guidelines still develop alcohol addiction. And for most chronic diseases, cancers, liver disease, hypertension, the relationship is monotonic. That means that any increase above 0 drinks increases your risk. The safest amount to drink? Less than you're drinking now. And the absolute safest? 0. Now, like many of you, I enjoy drinking. I love rum or a good old fashioned, but I really limit how much I drink and I recommend the same for my patients. My rule of thumb is to never drink 2 days in a row and never drink more than 2 drinks in a day. This lets me have a little fun while cutting down a lot of the worst risks, like excessive inflammation and hangovers. Check the link above to understand how inflammation affects your health. Watch to the end of the video to see what you can do to prevent hangovers. Now, let me tie all of this together and show you exactly what alcohol is doing to your entire body right now. Okay, let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Forget individual studies, forget isolated claims. Look at what the comprehensive research shows when you put it all together. Alcohol is causally linked to more than 200 diseases and injury conditions. It accounts for about 3 million deaths annually worldwide. That's more deaths than breast cancer. That's more deaths than from car accidents. For people aged 15 to 49, alcohol is the single leading risk factor for death globally. More than half of alcohol attributable deaths occur in people younger than 60, people in the prime of their lives. Here's what happens organ by organ. Cardiovascular damage includes hypertension, atrial fibrillation, heart failure, and irregular heartbeats. Liver damage includes fatty liver, steatohepatitis, fibrosis, cirrhosis, and liver cancer. Cancer includes oral cavity, throat, esophagus, colon, liver, and breast cancer. Brain damage includes cognitive impairment, dementia, peripheral neuropathy, and increased stroke risk. Mental health consequences include depression, anxiety, and increased suicide risk. Immune system effects include increased susceptibility to infections. Reproductive effects include reduced fertility in both men and women. Alcohol will crush your testosterone. If you're at risk or dealing with any of these conditions, check out the description to find my videos breaking down all of these topics and what you can do to fight back and gain control of your health. For almost all of these conditions, the relationship to alcohol is dose dependent and, again, monotonic. More drinking equals more risk. Less drinking equals less risk. There is no threshold of safety. The theoretical minimum risk exposure level is 0, particularly for younger adults. But here's where I want to end on a note of hope. Your body has remarkable healing capacity. Studies show that even short-term abstinence or significant reduction leads to real improvements. Insulin resistance improves, weight normalizes, blood pressure drops, liver function markers eventually improve. Brain structure can actually recover, especially in younger people. Depression and anxiety lift, sleep quality returns. You're not broken. Your body isn't permanently damaged. It's just been working overtime to compensate for a toxin. Remove the toxin and healing begins. And if you're listening to this and thinking, this is all overwhelming, I don't know where to start, I don't know how to make change safely, you're not alone. There's a better way forward, and you don't have to figure it out by yourself. Here's what I want you to understand. Your health is too important to leave to chance or to assumptions about what's normal or healthy. If you've been using alcohol to cope with stress, to sleep better because you believed it was protecting your heart, or just because everyone does it, and now you're questioning what you've heard, that questioning instinct is exactly right. Trust it. The science is clear, but making changes in your own life when you're trying to figure it all out by yourself can feel overwhelming. You might have questions like, how do I cut back safely? What about withdrawal? How do I deal with the stress without alcohol? How do I know if I have a problem? What if my friends judge me? These are real questions, and they deserve real answers from someone who understands both the science and the human side of this. I founded Bespoke Concierge MD because I believe people deserve healthcare that goes deeper. We're here to help nationwide, offering personalized health optimization programs. We don't treat people like numbers. We treat you as the unique individual you are. Our approach includes comprehensive evaluation and assessment of where you actually stand, advanced biomarker testing to see the specific damage, if any, alcohol has caused, evidence-based planning for either reduction or abstinence depending on your goals, and one-on-one support throughout your entire journey from initial assessment to personalized plans to ongoing adjustments. Whether you're looking to reduce your alcohol consumption safely, address underlying stress or sleep issues without relying on alcohol, reverse early metabolic changes like prediabetes, optimize your fertility if you're planning to start a family, or simply take control of your health with accurate information, we are here to help guide you every step of the way. You've watched this entire video. You've absorbed information that contradicts what you might have believed for years. The next step takes the same kind of courage, actually making a change. This doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be scary. It just has to be real, and it has to start with a decision to prioritize your health. As Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The best time to start was years ago. The second best time to start is right now, today. Take the first step, schedule a consultation, see what's possible when you have the right tools, support, and personalized guidance. Thanks for investing 10 minutes in your health today. If this information helped you or someone you know, please share this video. Your story in the comments could help others realize they're not alone in questioning their relationship with alcohol. Remember, your health is worth fighting for, and you don't have to do it alone. Let's work together to help you feel like yourself again with clarity, energy, and confidence. Now stick around to watch my video on how to prevent hangovers here. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next video.